Well, hello and good morning, everyone. Well, if you're tuning in, might be any time of the day. This is the Bellingham Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm Amber Darland, the music director here. I'm so excited for our program today. We've got a guest minister joining us today, and lots of great music to share, and of course, our practitioner of the day as well. So let's go ahead and get started with some music. I hope you all will join in and sing with me from wherever you are. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind staying on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind staying on spirit. Oh yeah, we're walking and talking with my mind staying on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on spirit. You can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on spirit. No, you can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, let's wake up. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. Oh yeah, I woke up this morning with my mind staying on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. One more time. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, well, thanks for being here with us today. If you're out there and you've got a minute to just say where you're from, say hello to some of our friends. This is a great time to feel connected to each other and use the beauty of social media to feel that connection. We're blessed to have this avenue to come to you today. Let's sing My Soul is Welcome Here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place I'd like to head over now to our practitioner of the day, Andrea Wood.
Good morning, everyone. I am Andrea Wood, the practitioner of the day. I invite you to pray with me. I know there is one indwelling creative source of all that is. It is the source of love, of light, and of truth. It is Spirit. Spirit is whole, eternal, and changeless. This one is alive in me and in all, in this and every now moment. As we come together today to celebrate living in grace and living in the light, Spirit illumines hearts and minds with the highest spiritual truth. This illumination shines forth and lights our world. We are part of the universal oneness that is Spirit. Gratitude fills me as I receive the gift of truth today with my spiritual community. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is.
Thank you, Andrea. With these eyes I will see, with this heart I will be, opening wide, turning inside. I am listening. With this love I will lead, with this grace I will breathe, deepening peace, fear I release. I am ready to receive. Spirit, know my name, call me home, light these darkened days. Oh Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. With these eyes I will see, with this heart I will be, opening wide, turning inside. I am listening. With this love I will lead, with this grace I will breathe, deepening peace, fear I release. I am ready to receive. Spirit, know my name, call me home, light these darkened days. Oh Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. Oh Spirit, know my name, call me home, and light these darkened days. Oh Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. Oh, let love be our legacy. Yes, let love be our legacy. Say it's here where our pieces fall in place. Any rain softly kisses us on the face. Any wind means we're running. We can sleep and see him coming. Where we drift and call it dreaming. We can weep and call it healing. Where we pray when our hearts are strong enough. We can bow 'cause our music's warmer than blood. Where we see enough to follow. We can hear when we are hollow. Where we keep the light we're given. We can lose and call it living. Where the sun isn't only sinking fast. Every night knows how long it's supposed to last. Where the time of our lives is all we have, and we get a chance to say before we ease away, for all the love you've left behind, you can have mine. You can have mine. Say it's here where our pieces fall in place. We can fear 'cause the feeling's fine to betray. Where our water isn't hidden, we can burn and be forgiven. Where our hands hurt from healing, we can laugh without a reason. 'Cause the sun isn't only sinking fast. Every moon in our bodies makes shining glass. Where the time of our lives is all we have, and we get a chance to say before we ease away, for all the love you've left behind, you can have mine. You can have mine. Oh, thanks everyone just for being here. And I'm just thrilled to be introducing our guest minister today. Reverend Masando Hiraoka is someone that I met actually a few years ago at one of our national CSL conventions, and I also had the pleasure of hearing him speak at the last convention in Denver. Well, actually, we personally connected then, but most recently, he taught one of the Roots classes through the Centers for Spiritual Living, and so I got to take that class from him, and I'll just say he's got so much wisdom to share, and is just such a warm-hearted human that I'm super excited for our community here in Bellingham and beyond to get a taste of what he has to offer today. So I'd like to introduce officially Reverend Masando Hiraoka.
What's up, CSL Bellingham? So good to be with you today. I want to thank Dr. Andrea and this amazing spiritual community for inviting me to be a guest speaker. I've been a follower and fan of Dr. Andrea for a long time. Y'all, I don't know if you know this, but she's kind of a big deal. So just so deeply honored for her invitation and inviting me to join you all today. And gosh, thank you, Amber, for that amazing music. That was so good. Got me all in my feelings. I will actually be talking about the lyrics of that song a little later, and just want to thank Amber for honoring that request. She emailed me on Friday and asked if I had any songs, and I was like, really? And so whatever a day she learned that song, created her own rendition, and it's easy to be a fan of what she does. How lucky you are to have such an amazing music director. So thank you again, Amber. One of the cool things about this time in which we are living in, this global pandemic time, which is a weird time, a challenging time, but also a revolutionary time, and deeply contemplative time, is the fact that we can all be together from any distance. It still kind of amazes me that I'm in here, in my basement, speaking to you guys, some of whom might still be in your PJs or eating breakfast and sipping coffee. I'm not going to lie. I deeply miss being able to congregate and see each other. And God, do I wish I could be there physically with you all in person in beautiful Bellingham, Washington. And yet at the same time, I love being able to do this live and thinking about all you folks up there in the Pacific Northwest that I get to connect with today. I actually lived in the Pacific Northwest for about 5 years in Eugene and Seattle. And even though Colorado is where I grew up and call home today, I have such a huge place in my heart for your neck of the woods. To be honest, I miss the rain. I know I'm weird. Like all of you, there's something that just calms me in that landscape of grays and greens. It's like my whole being just slows down a little bit, eases a little bit more. Maybe too much sometimes, which is why you also have the best coffee in the world. But I just love the energy I feel when I'm surrounded by blankets of clouds and rain. There's actually a word for that for a person who loves rain. It's a pluviophile, that word pluviophile that I discovered recently. So from one pluviophile to another, I salute you. So glad to be with you today. And gosh, I know we're all praying for more rain across the region in the West Coast these days. We're experiencing a lot of wildfires here in Colorado as well. The skies have been orange and red and pink, filled with smoke and sometimes even raining ash from the sky. It's eerie and just devastating to think about all of the destruction. Our hearts and our prayers are with those who have been displaced, with those who are in mourning, and those that are on the front lines fighting these fires. To be honest, if it wasn't 2020, these wildfires would feel like the craziest and worst thing of the year. But it's not. It's 2020. It's totally regular. I mean, God, this year has been a lot. I mean, it goes without saying. But recently, I have just felt the need to say it, to really acknowledge the difficulty of this year without apology, to resist the urge to bypass the real feelings that come up that we all might be carrying, to get just really real. So let's be real for a second. No matter how much of a positive spin we put on it, no matter how spiritual we are, this past year feels like has just been stressful and challenging for all of us. Things that used to feel easy and fun, like going out, going to the store, getting together with a group of friends, they now all require planning, risk assessment, effort. Normal everyday life that was clearly divided between work and leisure seems to blur together these days. In fact, I am definitely putting in more hours working from home than I ever did going into the office. At the same time, the world is going through great change and transition. Every part of our society is coming into a greater integrity and a greater alignment. I really do see and feel that. But often these kinds of transformations bring to the surface as well, all that is not working, all that needs to be healed, all that needs to be truly transformed. And that revealing and that transformation process can be painful at times, can even be traumatizing. And I've been really feeling recently into the weight of it all. Even as I continue to actively do everything I can to take part in that healing, to do everything I can to do my part in healing the systems that have created suffering and inequity and discrimination and even death for far too many, for far too long, I'm here for it, and I'm not going to give up on it. But it can feel heavy at times. It can feel like we have so far to go. It can feel overwhelming. And to try to keep up with it all, with managing church and ministry in a global pandemic and watching all of the fires across the West Coast and here in Colorado, and staying awake and aware to the injustice in our country, I find myself in a constant state of scheduling and planning and analyzing and organizing, which can often lead to overcommitting and flaking out and searching for rest and yearning for some sense of normalcy to my life. I am noticing that I am a little more on edge, a little crankier, a little more anxious than I am normally. I feel heaviness, and yet I also feel like I'm not doing enough. And I know I'm not alone in this. So many folks I know are experiencing the same thing, and I often see us spiritual folks wanting to hide that away. Like, we only want to focus on the good, to only see the positive, yet the truth is that can also create some unneeded pressure on ourselves. Jamie Castle is a teacher in Ohio that recently wrote an op-ed piece, and this is what she has to say, which I think is some beautiful wisdom. She says, "We do not need to put undue pressure on ourselves to keep it all together all of the time. Nor do we need to be lectured to by those who seem out of touch with the complications and realities of the many struggling Americans. Many of us are in survival mode, and that is okay. We will have lasting trauma, let's be real. The trauma will look different for different people. It could be as simple as always having a stockpile of toilet paper at home, to having more severe PTSD for those health workers on the front lines. Listen, it's okay to feel mad. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel nervous, anxious, scared, numb, and all the other feelings in between. It's okay to laugh too, and it's okay to cry. Everything that you are feeling right now is the correct response to have. And it's okay to feel it all. So feel it all. Process it. It's okay." So somehow, when I read these words, when I allow myself to just feel whatever is coming up and allow it to be okay, when I just stop and breathe and acknowledge all that is arising, a weight is able to be lifted from my being. Like, I can physically feel that. And because of this, I think I've been craving moments in which it is enough to just breathe and be still. I'm grateful for these moments, and I'm finding it much easier to also offer grace for those moments to others, right? Because I realize how hard this has been for all of us, some more than others. And this kind of understanding actually instills like a deeper compassion and a sense of non-judgment that I've found to honestly be really freeing. There was a tweet that I saw recently that seems to really capture it for me. It's this guy, Danny Pellegrino. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's like related to the Pellegrino sparkling water family empire. But this is what he says. He said, "We're all just doing the best we can," is my response to literally anything right now. Whether you tell me you chugged a box of wine, took a 6-hour midday nap, set up Christmas decorations in the summer, robbed a bank, or gave yourself bangs. We're all just doing the best we can right now. That's how I'm feeling these days. Like, honestly, I just have a lot less judgment about myself and others when it comes to how we are coping and walking through this time. I recently read another poll. Yeah, I read a lot of useless information on the internet, if you haven't figured that out already, of people's snacking habits since the pandemic began. This is what that poll said. The poll of 2,000 Americans finds most of the country is turning to classic snacks during COVID-19 lockdowns. Nearly 4 in 10 say they're eating their favorite foods every day during the pandemic. Another 38% are indulging in comforting snacks every other day. More than 60% of respondents say potato chips are their go-to comfort food. Ice cream is a close second, with nearly 6 in 10 people saying they need a few scoops to get through the day. Now, I may or may not have 4 different flavors of ice cream in my fridge currently, and maybe a package of those mini ice cream cones. They're just so cute. And to be clear, I'm not condoning like unhealthy eating or an unhealthy lifestyle, but I'm certainly not judging it either. And I find that there's a lot of grace that is being given to each other these days, and I'm totally here for it. It's this beautiful spiritual lesson that is coming through. These moments when I offer myself a bit of grace, like when someone else offers the same for me, even when I might not deserve it, like they're profound for me. Like they matter a lot. Something happens to me, or something happens when I offer myself grace, like, or when someone else offers it to me. It's as if all that pressure that we were talking about earlier, like all of the worry, all the things that I create these mind trips over, just gently loosens off my shoulders and loosens up in my belly. It's visceral. It's real. And in the place of that tension, right? Like of all that I was holding, I noticed that when grace is offered, whether that's coming from myself or from someone else, like something else can emerge. Something else can emerge from within. It's like this presence of peace, of this like radically unconditional love, of what I can only really describe as the energy of the divine, like begins to arise in my being. And somehow these moments of grace bring me the sense of the fact that like, no matter what, the divine, like the real experience of it is always available. Like it's always here, even in 2020. It can't be earned or bought or sold. It can't be manufactured or somehow conjured with a spell. It doesn't come if we are praying the right way or saying the right words during those prayers or doing the right things to earn the love and peace and joy that we seek. It's so much more, and at the same time, like so much more simple than that. I love Nadia Bowles-Weber and her definition of grace. She posted this on her Instagram recently, and she said, "Grace is the cargo train that distributes into my life all the good and beautiful things that are unearnable. Forgiveness, mercy, endless second chances, the goodwill of those who could write me off, the sun rising each day, a perfect peach in the summer, and love." Experiencing things that are unearnable, like Nadia Bowles-Weber talks about above, or what feel like so sacred these days. I experienced the simple beauty of being alive when I let go of the hustle, let go of seeking to earn approval or earn love or earn success or affection. Like that is grace. We cannot create or manufacture these experiences, even if it is a single breath that comes without strain, or the perfect smell of green chilies roasting that we get here in Colorado in the fall, or one instance of someone offering me kindness when I fail, or a small, bright glimmer of hope that arises from within. Like, it's enough. And it reminds me that I'm enough. These moments of grace are the moments when we simply get to remember who we are, when that inextricable connection to spirit descends into our minds and hearts, when we can stand in awe of the good that is always present, even in the midst of a global pandemic, even here in the year 2020. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, says it this way. He says, "Grace is the givingness of spirit to its creation. And it is not a special law, but a specialized one. In other words, grace is, but we need to recognize it. It's not something that God imposed upon us, but is the logical result of the correct acceptance of life and a correct relationship to spirit. We are saved by grace to the extent that we believe in, accept, and seek to embody that good. So grace then is simply believing in the goodness of life itself enough to simply recognize it more often, to accept the fact that, like, even in the midst of whatever may seem dark or tragic, Spirit, God, the divine, the universe, as us, with us, through us, around us, flowing between us, is ever flowing into our lives, whether we consciously recognize it or not. I think this is why I requested that song, Call It Dreaming by Iron and Wine, that Amber so beautifully played. It, to me, really captures this state of grace that we've been talking about. It's a constant invitation into that. I'm going to read the lyrics to you, like kind of like reciting a poem. And as I read it, I invite you to really just take in the words however they speak to you, to imagine that each line is an invitation into that state of grace. To know that right here, like wherever we are, however we are, whether we are falling apart, breaking, or weeping, whether we are experiencing the strength of our hearts or feel like we are losing in some way, we are healing, we are revealing, like our pieces are falling into place as we navigate all of this change in our lives. We are being offered divine love in each and every moment, like always arising from within and always appearing from without. So here's the lyrics of that song, and I'll just invite you to take them in. Say it's here where our pieces fall in place. Any rain softly kisses us on our face. Any wind means we're running. We can sleep and see him coming. Where we drift and call it dreaming, we can weep and call it singing. Where we break when our hearts are strong enough, we can bow 'cause our music's warmer than blood. Where we see enough to follow, we can hear when we are hollow. We can keep the light we're given. We can lose and call it living. Where the sun isn't only seeking fast, every night knows how long it's supposed to last. Where the time of our lives is all we have, and we get a chance to say, before we ease away, for all the love you've left behind, you can have mine. I love the message of this song. I can even imagine it being like this love song from the divine that's saying, like, you can have my love. Like, you can have this love. You can have it. It's already yours before you even ask for it. I think that is the message of grace. Like, you don't have to earn it. You don't even have to seek it. You don't have to create it. You don't have to pray for it. You can just have it. Over and over and over again, it's yours. Can we take that in for just a moment? Like, really take that in. Like, even when we feel unlovable, we can have this love. Even when we've messed up, we can have this love. Even when we've totally abandoned our spiritual practice or workout routine, we can have this love. Even when we haven't shown up as our best selves in whatever way that is, when we've totally fallen apart or are barely keeping it together, we can have this love. Even when we are in the middle of a global pandemic, even when we are waking up to the realities of systemic racism and discovering ways we may have unknowingly and unconsciously contributed to those systems, we can have this love. Even now, in this very moment, we can have this love. It's yours. It's mine. It's ours. And every time we experience this, like, we have an opportunity for that love, like, to continually flow, like, to flow outwards from us, from that abundance, right? From that overflowing experience of grace, right? We can be a conduit for grace by offering that kind of love to another, especially those we may think do not deserve our love. Like, that's the whole thing about grace, especially for those who we may have othered in some way, for those we disagree with. That's the thing about grace. With those who may even seem like an enemy, we can offer them that grace. Even a little bit, right, is a gift of the divine unto itself. It's the creative energy of the universe and of life itself. We can be conduits for that. We can let it overflow so much so that there's nothing else we can do but give thanks for it and then give it away. You can have mine. And hopefully I can have some of yours too. To know that there is no limit to grace, there is no limit to love. It's simply a truth of our being. So the invitation this week, right, as we hopefully more consciously enter into those states of grace where we open ourselves up enough to catching it, is to allow each moment, right, of sadness or joy, of boredom or confusion, to leave enough room for grace to also show up. We can offer it to ourselves and stand in awe when it shows up unannounced or is offered to us. Grace is like a waterfall that is continually pouring into our lives, like a cargo train that is continually delivering to us all that is unearnable, like a beam of warm light that shines even through the clouds and rain, that reflects itself in each drop, that reveals itself in each breath. So let's ground all of this in our bodies and in our beings with some words of prayer. So how incredibly good it is to be here in this moment, to be living through this transformational time, to be this human being, this spiritual being that is continually opening to this state of grace, that grace can flow into every aspect of our lives, that it can smooth over any rough edges, that it can show up in the places where we least expect it, that it can even flow outwards towards those we have othered and dehumanized. It is simply the truth of this thing called life, of this beauty of the divine itself that lives and moves and has its being as each one of us, that flows between us, that shows up in moments of sadness and makes itself more deeply known in moments of joy. How good it is to be a part of this journey of life. And what I know for each and every person that is hearing these words right now is that no matter what, there is a waterfall of love that is continually pouring into each and every one of our lives. That no matter what we've done or haven't done, no matter what we've gone through or have yet to go through, this presence of the divine is always here, always present, and it makes itself known through moments of grace. And so we let go of the pressure that we may be holding. We let go of anything that we may still be holding on to. We let go of any barrier that may stand in the way of us recognizing grace in every moment. And so I just give thanks for this thing called life. I give thanks for this year of 2020, this transformative year that is waking us all up to how deeply interconnected we all are. I give thanks for this spiritual community of CSL Bellingham. I give thanks for the teachings that continually help us come back to what's really real, what really matters, and what's really important. I give thanks for all of the love that continually shows up for each one of us. And I give thanks in advance for all of the moments of grace that are experienced this week and every moment to come. And so with that, we let it be with this grateful heart, open to grace, in the flow of life and of love itself. And we can let it be and let it be so. And so it is. Thank you all so much for having me today. I look forward to being with you in person in the future. And I'll send it back to Amber.
Wow, thank you so much, Masando. What a gift you offered us all this morning. And I do hope that you'll be back to visit us soon, whether it's virtually or in person. All right, folks, well, let's sing out into this day. And also thank you, as usual, for any contributions, donations that you can send our way to the Bellingham Center for Spiritual Living. I believe if you're on the Facebook page, you can just follow a link to our website, and we really appreciate your help. Well, your gifts. Putting it into the flow. As Masano was talking about, that flow, financial flow is great too, especially during this pandemic. I've been practicing giving also what I'm needing, right? And it's when we put our goods into the law of circulation, whether that's financial or just the love and the grace, it comes back to us all the time. Let's sing out into this day. In the name of love, with the heart of grace, overflow in us, decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. In the name of love, may we always be seeking out the best till we are free, living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. When the veil is gone, when the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. Now here's the fun part. We all just get to sing in the name of love. Let's sing this out. Let's put this out into the world for all the folks out there who need it. That's every one of us. Specifically sending out prayers and love to the West Coast and all the fires, and specifically sending out love and blessings to every single human being who is suffering right now. Here we go. In the name of love. 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 Sing it out. In the name wonderful day. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to come back again soon. Bye, everybody.